What is up, guys? You guys just heard Scott Weiland, born with Wildabouts, now this new group. Scott Weiland, Wildabouts are live on the Strong Show. Scott Weiland, they gave an in-depth interview of his whole life, dating back to the days of Wildabouts. When he was recently got fired from the group, he formed another group, Revolver. That group went to the pits, and then he after a album, Scott Weiland, the Wildabouts, their debut album, Blaster. The reason behind Wildabouts were formed, he said in a recent interview back in January 2015, he explained he hasn't felt this excited about making an album since early days of Wildabouts, saying, if you take out the fact that we had to break up the recording process while touring, the album came very easy because of the vibe between the band members. Sound game felt original and infectious and brought me back to the feelings I had when I made our first couple works. Just excitement, feeling invigorating, useful. Just to give you guys a little trip down memory lane. Scott Weiland, he was with Wildabouts. When Wildabouts were at their big break, back in the heyday, the group, they pulled a lot of great albums, and I had the opportunity to see some of the at perform live at Rock on the Range. Was it 2010? And my first thoughts of seeing some of the pods, like, man, this band is pretty good. But Scott Weiland, during his wherever he was wrong with his mind and all that, and he had a huge history of drug and alcohol problems that led to his early demise, the early demise from the group Wildabouts. And most recently, if you ever heard, members of Wildabouts, they took Scott Weiland to court, and they served on his papers. They fired him like that because Scott Weiland was planning to do his own solo record tour and all that. He had this took his members of whatever Wildabouts to the court, saying you can't use Wildabouts. I created the band and all that, and they kicked him out of the group. Because I'm not putting Scott Weiland under the bus. He's a very talented musician, but for him, his mind was all messed up. His mind was all messed up because he was booze too hard, drugs too hard, and that led to his early demise when he formed his own group, the Wildabouts. He recently, if you guys have seen or heard over the news, he performed an old school Wildabouts classic, and from other people's point of view, it felt like he botched the whole song, and it felt like he hit rock bottom, he was on drugs and alcohol. But that's just my point of view, my thought of him. I'm not saying Scott Weiland is a bad lead singer, because all lead singers are bad from other great bands. They do really good, but behind the scenes, they're getting so wasted, so drunk, so out of it, so they don't remember what they did. I'm just saying from a point of view, but ever since his early demise on Wildabouts, he formed his own group, the Wildabouts, and ever since the Wildabouts were born, one of the members of the group, Wildabouts, passed away most recently, so he had time on his, he had so much pressure to find a new replacement, and they just continued on with their debut album. Blaster is actually the fourth album by Scott Weiland under the moniker of Scott Weiland and the Wildabouts. This album came out March 31st of this year, so it came out this year, and I bought it on that day. And it's when I listened to it earlier today, it's a much more different album than past solo pilots. And Scott Weiland, yeah, he has been through the ringer, he's been through everything he has done, but this new album is much more different, much more, it's not a solo pilot-esque album, it's much more different album. It's not a solo pilot album. He kind of took a newer path with his new group. Prior to this, the drum cover from his album, The Road to the Sluts, comment section down below.